Hey, this is Dr. Firnhaber, and this is Wednesday, so it's time for 10 Minutes of Truth. So last Wednesday, I went over all the nutrients and minerals that get depleted by blood pressure medication. And if you didn't see that video, I would go back and watch it next week. So this week, I want to go over one of the main strategies for mitigating or lowering high blood pressure. So this is from a series of studies that have been out for quite a while. So one of the best ways to lower high blood pressure is with high intensity interval training. Now, high intensity interval training, number one here, is short bursts of maximum exercise followed by short rest periods. So what would that look like? Well, if you're on a stationary bicycle, you turn up the resistance just a little bit and go all out as hard as you can for at least 20 seconds up to 2 minutes. Then you have a short rest period, maybe 2 minutes, where you're just pedaling easy. Then you go all out as hard as you can again. And you do that for 3 to 5 cycles, and you're done, okay? Now, for me, I do high intensity hill running. So I run up a hill near my house as hard and fast as I can. Rest when I get to the top, walk down, do it again, rest, walk down, do it again. And I'll do that anywhere from 2 to 5 times, depending what else I'm going to do for my workout routine that morning. So that's high intensity interval training. You can do it on a bicycle, you can do it with weightlifting, you can do it with walking. You can do high intensity hill walking or high intensity walking where you walk as fast as you can for 2 to 3 minutes and then rest and then do the same. So what are the benefits of high intensity interval training? 2 minutes of high intensity interval training is equal to 30 minutes of running, okay? So you can really shorten your workout times a lot. Second thing is that part of the problem with high blood pressure, not the only problem, but a big problem, is a stiffening of the arteries. Your arteries get hard. And that's due to changes in the endothelial lining or the one cell lining of the arteries. So what happens is that when you do high intensity interval training, it changes stiff hard arteries to expand normally. It does this better than any other traditional form of exercise. So if you want to renew your arteries, high intensity interval training is a way to do it. Another thing that high intensity interval training does that a lot of people don't know is it produces nitric oxide in your body. Very, very important for normal arterial and blood pressure functioning. Really important for normal sexual functioning as well. Fourth thing, one study showed that 73% of people with elevated blood pressure restored normal blood pressure after 2 months and 24 high-intensity interval training sessions. So that's pretty good. That's almost 75% of the people restored their blood pressure to normal in 2 months without any medication at all. Fifth thing, high-intensity interval training is very effective for burning fat. So if you want to turn your body into a fat-burning machine, do high-intensity interval training. Very good for weight loss, very, very good for building muscle. Now, if you look at, for example, Olympic athletes, and you compare what the sprinters look like, which sprinting is high-intensity interval running, okay? And they practice that a lot, versus the marathon runners, you notice that the marathon runners are quite leaner, they don't have near the muscle mass as the sprinters. The sprinters are big, muscular people, where the marathon runners aren't like that at all. So high intensity interval training helps burn fat and build muscle. Now, if you combine high intensity interval training with intermittent fasting, you're going to even increase the benefits of this. Now, I'm going to be talking about intermittent fasting on May 2nd of this year in my office, 6:30. And we're going to talk about what is intermittent fasting. So these are two things that I do all the time. I do it as part of my life. High intensity interval training. I also do a lot of resistance training, and I do intermittent fasting regularly, like every single day. And it's been an enormous benefit to me. So if you're having high blood pressure issues, I would recommend you start doing this as soon as possible. Now, one other thing you can do is you can start taking magnesium, and I would take a couple of different forms. Now, I like the magnesium we sell in our office. Very, very absorbable, highly ionizable. So that's another thing that you can do to mitigate elevated blood pressure. But I would also combine that with doing high intensity interval training. Now, before I go, there's two things that I want to go over. Number one is next Tuesday, we're having a talk in our office called herbal therapy. What is herbal therapy? How does it work? I've never done this talk before. We're doing it next Tuesday at 6:30 in my office. Be about a half an hour talk. The other thing is on April 5th and 6th, we're having Patient Appreciation Day in my office. What does that mean? That means that any of you out there can refer in your friends or family, and we will do a spinal health check at our expense and see if we can help people. We've helped so many people here at Lincoln Disc and Nutrition. And we've helped them through chiropractic care and through functional medicine. So if they want to come in, they don't know if they could be helped with chiropractic, they've had a problem, they want to talk to me, they want me to check them out, we'll do that. We'll give them 10 to 15 minutes at our expense. If we can help them, we'll tell them what they need to do. We can't, we'll try and get them someplace that can help them. So that's April 6th, April 5th and 6th. You call the office for an appointment. We'd love to take a look at you and see if we can help out your health issues. There's so many people in our culture that are sick, that are suffering, and a lot of it needlessly. So that's April 5th and 6th. We're at 45th and Normal, 4535 Normal, and our phone number is 402-488-2220. So hope to see you on May 5th and 6th. Hope this little talk, this 10 minutes of science on mitigating high blood pressure without drugs was helpful to you. And we'll see you next week for another 10 minutes of science.